Red Bull gives you wings.
A trait needed to be a pro is definitely having that passion and that tenacity to be the best and just working towards that every day and doing what you can on and off the game and just being able to work day in and day out with your team individually and watching any streamer, watching any pro VODs that you can, and just really implementing that into your game, into your scrims.
One trait to like become pro is definitely dedication and like effort, like time spent to the game. Specifically, like honestly, you could just be playing it and you could learn something like every day. But yeah, I would just say dedication.
The most important trait to me in a pro player is the ability to take criticism well, because you're gonna get told what you do wrong. You're gonna told like by your teammates like if there's things you do that they don't like, and it's just about how you react to it.
Good communication. I feel like anyone could have really good aim, but if you're not gonna give teams like your team those comms, then like you're not gonna be a good teammate, and that's what teams are looking for.
I think communication is the biggest trait being a pro. I think that's both in-game and out-of-game.
The trait that is most needed to be a pro player is definitely a strong mental, because you know you're going to be on a team with 4 other players and a coach, maybe even an assistant coach, and you're going to be having to get criticism. You're going to have to be learning different things. You're going to mess up, and when someone calls you out for that or tries to help you, you got to make sure that you just know that it's for your own good. It's to help you get better and not to take it to heart.
8 rounds in a row for DSG to come back in map number 1 of our lower final. Welcome back to the Valorant Game Changers Series 2 NA presented by Verizon. I'm Mimi, joined again by Bach and Wyatt. And Wyatt, this series has already started off with a surprise. DSG looked out of that map, but then run a near flawless defensive side.
Yeah, 100%. So far in this tournament, we've seen DSG be really great on attack. Their attack win percentage is something like 57% across all maps. And on defense, it's like about 11% lower, which is really significant. So for them to make a huge comeback here on defense, that really provides a lot of hope for them in the rest of this series if they can keep that up.
That definitely looked like it was over. We thought, this is it. Complexity is going to close out map 1. It's going to be on to map 2. But DSG just kept winning round after round, and even though some of them got close, they had resilience, and they just kept in it. And then they take control, and you're like, oh my gosh, how is Complexity letting this happen? And this is exactly what we talked about in the pregame, was Complexity needs to prevent DSG from snowballing. They need to keep them from building that momentum, because now they're getting the confidence in them. They are feeling like, okay, it's not just a we're happy to be here effect. We can win this. We can go back to the grand finals against V1. We can try to do a little bit better than we did the last time. Both of these teams obviously want to do that. They both struggled against V1, but it's all about the hurdle that's in front of you currently, and DSG cleared it quite well, actually. Sure, you could argue that maybe some of the rounds in the first half could have been better from them, but ultimately they came across the finish line with the dub, and that's what matters most.
Yeah, it does matter in the end, but the player who really helped propel that comeback into existence for DSG was Lazy Lion, who had so many clutches and pop-off moments. I mean, they looked perfect in the second half, Wyatt.
Yeah, absolutely. What I loved from DSG on this second half, though you can see Lazy Lion going crazy right here individually, a lot of it was the setup. Their team play looked great. You could see how much value all of their utility pieces were getting. The ults were well timed, the stuns to retake tower where you're seeing Lazy Lion right now, and then also just the individual. It's genuinely what we were saying before. Lazy Lion is just the full package player. The setup with the utility on the initiators, perfect. Put them in a situation where they have to win a round with either a clutch or getting the crucial kills. Always there, always consistent, like genuinely so impressive over and over and over this whole stage 2.
I think Lazy Lion's name is a bit of psyops. It's like, okay, they're not going to anticipate that I'm actually going to be good at this. They think I have poor work ethic. So ultimately, Lazy Lion comes in and has a great performance, even in the clutch situation. Before the game, we looked at Lace versus Lazy Lion, two players who have very similar impact, but in different ways. Lace was a clutch player, and Lazy Lion was not. Has struggled in the clutches so far throughout the bracket, 0 for 9 overall. And then you come down to a 1v2, and it eventually is a 1v1 between Lace and Lazy Lion, and Lazy Lion finds the win in that clutch situation. And it wasn't the only time that happened in that first map. Big player in the server for them, pivotal in the comeback, and now it's looking like Complexity's on the back foot. They're a little bit stunned by that first map loss.
To quote the sage advice of the neon sign hanging in the background of Hannah's room, she had to be humble in that first half. But in the second half, Hannah took over. It seems like she just has unlimited setups and continues to provide massive impact for her squad here, Wyatt.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the kind of setups that you would, I guess, expect of a newer team. It's not there for the intention of info gathering and making the perfect calls and the right team play executes. It's very individually based, but extremely effective. You can see time and time again how much trouble the Complexity side were having getting into, especially the B site. The one-way setups with the cages are really unique. All of the little kill trip spots, it was slowing them down over and over, and it netted them kills as well. Hannah was always in great positions to get crucial frags anchoring. Really stepped it up on the second half, and in tandem with Lazy Lion, individually speaking, were the critical duo that really dragged them back.
Even though statistically Hannah and Claudia had very similar impact, you know, Hannah's got 212 ACS, Claudia at 209, both 17 kills, just a few more deaths for Claudia. The impact that we were talking about coming into this game was how much Cypher changes the way you can play the map compared to a Killjoy on this map. And we've seen that already throughout the bracket multiple times, and it plays out again here as well, because even though they both individually played very similarly, Hannah's impact as the Cypher was felt at a greater level than what you maybe would have felt with Claudia. It's just, like you said, Wyatt, the trips, annoying. The cyber cages, very annoying. It was just really well played from Hannah and well executed overall from Disguised.
And it was a great map number 1 from Disguised, but it's a best out of 5, so plenty of time for Complexity to rally. Let's check in on where we're headed next. Pearl is going to be the second in this series. It's the choice of DSG. And Bach, I'm really interested to see how this one is going to pan out, especially considering both these teams play really unique comps of Phoenix on both sides.
We've seen teams run Phoenix on this map before, so for Disguised, maybe it's a little more quote-unquote standard. I think looking back at Series 1, we saw some teams running Phoenix comps, but the one that really stands out to me is Complexity's approach with the Phoenix and a Neon. We've seen Neon with mixed results already throughout bracket play. I'm curious how it's going to stack up. It has worked out well for Complexity thus far. I mean, they've found wins on the map against teams like EG and Shopify.
Yeah, that comp from Complexity is sick on defense. The way that they're able to fight for A main, get aggressive on B with the speed of the Neon, the flashes from Lace and Raze, so deadly. And that was the linchpin of getting the victories against EG, the teams you previously mentioned. Where this comp can fall apart, though, is on attack. Specifically against an AWP. In that game against EG, Keensey is such a great AWPer, and they were able to shut down COL over and over and over because they can't really push an AWPer, off any of the angles with this. They don't have the Sova, they don't have the KO. You have those short-range flashes. It's just not that effective. So I'm definitely looking on defense to Katarina to pick up the AWP on the Jet. I think that'll be a super crucial factor for DSG to get the win here on a map which they've been picking, but have had really mixed results on.
I mean, to be fair, the teams they're losing to are not exactly teams you can shrug aside. You know, they did play against V1 and lost 13-7. It's kind of what everyone seems to do against V1. But I agree. The AWP is huge. We've seen teams run this, even going to like Ascension. During Ascension, we saw a team run a Neon comp. I believe it was Fusion. And their Achilles heel was the AWP. So they won 4 or 5 rounds in a row. AWP comes into play, and they pretty much lose out at that point because there's just no way to gain space. All of a sudden, that flash and dash play doesn't work so well when the nearest player is so far away that the flash has limited impact. It's going to be pivotal for Complexity to find a solution should the AWP come out. It might be by way of Kara with the Astra, trying to neutralize positions that would be commonly played, but it's very tricky to try to do that if you never know where that person's going to be.
Well, if there was a comp to shut down an Opera, you'd think that this double flash Neon comp could be the one to do so. It seems like fun is back on the table on Pearl. No more double controller. We're into a new era. And for Disguised and Complexity, we'll have to see whose approach is better as we send things into map number 2 with your casters, Riv and Vance.
And that's exactly what I want to see. We were nerding out before, yeah, a Phoenix versus a KO, a Sova, what they bring, what type of information you're trying to gather here with a double initiator. I don't care. Now it's just double duelists on both ends. A Phoenix versus Phoenix. I think the Flood retakes are going to be insane. Let's just have fun with the observers as well. It's going to get chaotic. I could feel that right now, but that last single point there that Mimi was talking about here, Riv, in terms of now Complexity playing on the attack, having a Neon on top of that to maybe block those walls to prevent an up to get too much effectiveness out of Katarina on the defense may be that winning condition that we might see Complexity take here on this map.
The way that Jazzy used walls last time was actually pretty absurd. A lot of times that's the way you'll take space, right? You have the Viper, you have a way to get up, and then you get to execute from a little bit closer if you don't have to get some early orbs out or dismiss something from an Astra, but we don't have that. We get the fun. Like Mimi said, it's the appetizer, the full main course, and dessert here for Pearl. And it is going to be quite a split map. So this is going to be that, okay, Killjoy utility is in streets on connector. We'll worry about that every time, but it does not look like it deters Complexity from this B hit.
Yeah, split from the B hulls up towards B long. A plant seems a little bit tight. It's not as far forward as you want it to be, but at least you still have some great position from Claudia and the rest of the team on this pulse plant fighting back towards the streets. The backstab ensues from Hannah, towards Heaven. Back on a 3 versus 3. All 3 players now stuck in the back of the site for Complexity to watch this spike. First flash.
Big flash.
Second one right into the smoke. Misu gets 2 kills right there. As Kara is pivoting all the way across to the other end. The headshot on first! And the second one! The Red Bull clutch coming out of Complexity! As they get, once again, another pistol.
Plays it on the off angle instead of letting the spike diffuse for the 1v1 in the 1v2 situation. That is wild. And what a great retake by DSG. I think they identified, they're like, everyone's in sight, right? I think they knew based on how many shots, how many steps, and what util they were seeing.
Yeah.
Those flashes, those retakes. Very nicely done. Complexity will find it from Kara, though. The shots of just standing there and taking the fight to DSG. Wild stuff. A really good first round from both teams. Spikes drop for second round here as it looks like we get some orb control on the board. And now it's going to be Raze farming these ones up so we can get lots of run it backs.
We're getting Bucky meta for a second rounder. Or those are going to be on the eco. Trying to form that up here for the duelist to at least try to bring it to faster ultimates, cycling that forward in the later rounds. But we've seen a lot of these throughout the game changer so far.
Back and forth. This early star over at A. Making Katarina think, like, wait a minute, but there's still 2 at B for DSG here. It's going to be tough to take down this flurry of weapons, or fury of weapons coming in, but we'll see. Walls up.
No! And a chest bump. Finally, though, no kills comes out from DSG on the sneaky angles that we're holding here towards that B site. Plat now comes down. Still, again, tucked in. But at least the nanostorms are there, and the star's still available for Kara. 5 players set up with the crossfire set up.
Yeah,
not much you can do here. I want to see a dash Bucky, pretty much. That's the only highlight I want to see this round. Instead, it's a 2K blind.
Instead, the Bucky was dashed.
A blind 2K.
Okay, Complexity now in the bonus round. Actually, if they use run it back here, they can really send DSG for a loop. I don't know if DSG is going to be playing the same way they did last time. Further back, playing safe. No, they're playing forward. They say, okay, it's going to be a fight for this orb. Expect a flash around the corner. A little bit of action here at A to begin us off for our round number 3.
This is something you're just going to be used to here. I think even that smoke was thrown out from the attack side just to try to nullify the flashes coming out from the defenders from Unstable. So that's one of the counters you could see here on the attack on both ends when you're used to playing with the Phoenix in your comp. That said, change of pace, Complexity in a bonus working together once again. A very similar round to the pistol round. A split from the streets back towards B long. Open B site here for Complexity to take.
All right, Claudia. Mission Impossible begins. DSG looks to retake the site, but are they going to watch the flank?
Rebellion doesn't clear the right, but Raze does at least. There's that first kill on Hannah that allows the backstab. You mentioned the flank, trying to catch one off guard here in the Trailblazer. That's Lazy Line to fall. Stable trying to fight back for DSG. Flare disadvantage for Disguised. As that util again, still too much on the spike. One more star available and one more player available. That's Misu hitting that first shot, but then will also decide to save their weapon. So Complexity will be able to get the third round of this Pearl, winning their bonus round.
Misu saves one. And yeah, Complexity seems to be fixing a few of the mistakes here. Very, very good as a team with the way they're moving, the considerations they're taking here. Knowing that there was a flash and an orb grab at long, very unlikely that anybody else but Phoenix is grabbing orbs. So that you know there's 2 people at A and possibly 1 in the middle of the map. They just played the numbers game there really well to go towards B and overwhelm the rest of DSG. Spikes down again. A little bit of a repeat of last round. I think, like you said, we'll see this more often. Be aware of it. And here it is again. That smoke out will get popped. And they're expecting Jazzykins to almost be dashing behind there initially, right? So insta-molly behind the boxes as well. So they just have an idea for everything. So that one actually does go to Lazy Lion.
Re-clear as well from the Trailblazer. Utility being used to push the defenders back. Re-getting that space. The spike's still down, so... An idea that Complexity is just trying to keep them guessing, keeping DSG anchored towards the A site. Re-pivot potentially on what they've been successful with. A street to be split.
And look at the positioning DSG can take here. With Katarina's a little bit of an extension up long, they can keep a good lean towards A. Alarm bot in towards B link. And they really don't have to move too much just yet. Stars for misdirection coming out from Complexity now towards A. And Katarina's gonna have to play this a little safer.
Bucky once again, and she'll get spotted by the Seeker, so
Bye-bye.
dashes away. Nice little combo there to allow her for an escape. Trying to run back inside the smoke, but Quality just spams it. That's no value coming through. Hero Rifle, though, in the hands of Unstable, as he also have to run it back. Playing it close, but the smoke dissipates. Thankfully, was still in to run it back to find that information, allowing Hannah to swing back from the back of the site. Suddenly, the tides have turned. Unstable with another kill in a 2 versus 2, and a nice counter coming out from Raze. Another curveball towards the back. And we stopped the bleeding for Complexity, as it was looking to be a thrifty coming out from DSG.
The MVP is mine.
Raze is so deadly with the flashman. We saw it yesterday as well. Just the initial corners, they need to work ever. Raze is just like 1-2. And it's never a fake flash. A lot of times, team, you can hear the kind of the wind up a little bit coming around. Not really with Phoenix to say, but once you see it, you turn. But Raze is insta swinging, ready for the frag, crosshair placement on. It seemed like her opponents had no chance even if they did turn it. So wild stuff coming out there. 4 for Complexity now, and this A fight continues.
Yeah, and apologies. After the 3rd or 4th time I see the smoke come out, it looks like it's a star placed on a defense here to not allow Complexity to really run through and get that positioning out for the orb control. It's been that story from the last 5 rounds. Fighting out, giving the orb here for DSG, and pivoting back towards the B side. This time around, though, the slight change is that all 5 of them for Complexity are moving down towards long. where all that KG utility now could actually be used with a potential grab well, but it's a smoke instead.
Plant and lockdown for Claudia if they can make it happen, which means the flank has to be watched now by Kara. A little switch up for Complexity.
The switch up, though, doesn't allow for them to get the first kill. This is traded off. An attack off being watched by Kara in the flank. Facing up against Lazy Lions who pop their Seekers. Ult on the attack as well to keep the defenders back. And this is the biggest responsibility right here. Watching the angle, landing a shot. And that's just going to make it so difficult for DSG to retake, at least for now. Wall divides the B site. Nano swarms to delay. Katarina with her own op. A 3 versus 3 attack on the spike. A swing across on the other end. It's halfway. Now as the last star has been used. The swing across. The double jump. Advantage back out here for the defenders. The backstep in the end. And it's halfway, but there's no time. The kill comes across at least to make it expensive, but the round still comes in for full.
Incredibly expensive on both sides. Ult's coming up, ult's going down, along with the players of each side. No one left standing at the end of that round, but it does go on the board for Complexity. What chaos caused by this cosmic divide. Really fun round to see how both teams adjusted. And like you said, in the end, the frag comes through to lessen the pain a little bit, but 5-0 will bring that timeout about for the side of DSG here. And their ability to change it up right now on the side of Complexity, just Kara with the op, switching when Claudia needs to go forward to plant. They just seem so fluid. Nothing is slowing Complexity down right now.
Yeah. The game plan seems to be pretty much there for both teams. It's fight for AR control. It's well read by DSG, but everything after that seems to be a little bit behind. How do you actually play the retakes here against Complexity's post plants? And I've mentioned at the beginning of this game, is it going to be really Jazzikins with the walls that you could have around here to really try to get these spots? It's not really been the case. It's just brute forcing. DSG attempted to play the retakes and not working out. And off this timeout, you see now the change in positioning. Yes, Katarina was there before with a Bucky, but could potentially now in the longer runs to use that on or rotate that Complexity pivots towards his B site.
Dodged out. Yeah, they heard some steps as well. But DSG is trying to force the hand of Complexity now. A lot of what Complexity's been able to do is gain that space, get close, and then... Oh, wait a minute.
Nice flash. But Raze is still there. Oh. Only one player was blinded after all. Out of Complexity. Yeah, I mean, the pivots still look pretty good. This round's going to go potentially here to DSG unless Katarina works some matching with the Bladestorm. And as I say that, Bladestorms are down. So they've been doing quite well, at least for DSG this time around, where I noticed the Trailblazer didn't really spot too much as Lace was pushing Katarina back. And what they did was pivot all the way towards the A site already to try to stack as much and as quickly as you can. But it was too late here as once again Complexity, once they realize where the pressure is coming from, they just initiate on the other end, and it just really catches the DSG off guard. Hopefully they could do is, they could attack back with rifles, should I say, this time around for DSG in round number 7.
Yeah, it's coming down to the post plant, which hasn't happened very often, where DSG is actually only able to gain some ground. I was about to mention there before we saw Complexity running again into range of DSG is that's how this composition for Complexity works.
Yeah.
They don't want to really fight you from afar. They did have an op, but that op watched flank. It didn't watch down B, right? They want to get in your face. It was Jazzy and Raze running around, making you look every which way, second guessing, and the rest of the team comes up. See how fast they close the gap here. This is a misdirection play. All the way across the map is the spike at A.
Especially with the running back, that's going to sell that fake for sure.
They're selling it.
Yeah. It works out. Running back gets canceled, but Jazzigan lurked forward to get that kill. 2 players on the streets. No matter what, an open site now for Complexity to plant. The idea was there. DSG, they did bring that up and cycled it towards that B main. Now they're going to have to try to play the retake instead. They have their own run it back and a lockdown. But look at Complexity, already placing and playing on the outskirts of the A site.
Very coolly placed. They have to protect Art.
Raise on a 1v1. Not going to happen. So now you're pushing everybody back. A great opportunity to move forward here. Two's going to get detained. And now we stick on the spike. Thankfully here, it wasn't the Astra that got detained, so the first grab well to deny the time. Once again, curveball around the corner. Baiting out the shots exactly to get the last 2 kills. And that's Raze doing a great job thinking on their feet. And Complexity are coming back with a vengeance on this second map for DSG's map pick.
That's cute to see. The little mind games being played. The hey, look at me shots. I'm really closer than you think. But not really. Great defense here as well on the lockdown. And it just couldn't come to fruition altogether. Complexity gets 7. The time out won't click just yet for DSG. And this is what we were seeing a bit of yesterday when Complexity went on a heater. They were just able to control the game. The desk said it. And we've noticed it. Do not let DSG get momentum. It looks like you just keep them really separated once they can't find it.
Here.
The less pressure out towards the orb, the consistent amount of conditioning that you're able to have from DSG allows now for them to work a little bit more pressure towards middle. Since A side on orb will be less contested. And now Hannah's trying to sell that bait. The swing on the other end, and nice little dance around there by Jazzikins. Pulls up the overdrive. Trailblazer even to spot the last player in the B site, and there's that overkill. B site now open, unstable, trying to fight back, but they're only good for their 1 from the B link. Plant is safe. Raze healing up and already has another ult available for the next round.
This is a clinic right now that COL is able to put on. Bringing back a gun round here for DSG after going through this eco. Only losing Jazzy. Building up the econ. All of them sitting at 9, just about 9. Yeah, so with that as well, they don't want to go down in rounds. Nobody ever does. But this gives Complexity a chance to test DSG, to push a little bit more. If you want to take a 1v1 at a moment, not a worry. You have enough to buy next round kind of thing. So Complexity has some room to play with here, and that, I think, also puts more pressure on DSG. It becomes harder and harder. Complexity really isn't committing to their first sight, making DSG guess, playing these misdirection games.
Oh, yeah.
And they've just conditioned DSG to be paranoid.
And already changing the pace. Seekers and run it back to clear out the A side. Stars already popped up as well. Fast lane into sight. DSG forced to play the retake. And that's something that we commended Complexity against version 1 on Lotus, how good they were on controlling the attack side. But nonetheless, Mizu fights back with 2 kills and drops the spike. So overextension here with working behind the double ultimates that was used on the attack. So turned around now as DSG are about to score their first point of this map off some great anchor plays by Mizu, who's still alive. Curveball for our double swing, or a 3-2-1 swing. The wide swing first and the second after, and Stable still wins that duel. And there is that first round.
There it is. Visions of Noya were dancing in my head for a second. Could have gotten scary. Could have gotten scary. But it did not. DSG hold. Great job by this little back and forth between Mizu and the back alley. And now we get the round on 9. So just a few more. 8-4 can still get some work done for DSG and make this second half feel more comfortable. Operator for Kara once again. And it's going to be this A fight. Actually owned now by Complexity, it seems. Only because DSG wants this C or B push once again. Oh, did that on Fracture too.
Yeah.
What is it with the Katarina clicks?
Even I get owned myself when I play an Astra on that map, and it seems as though when you play this map often and you have that smoke recall, it's just easy to just tap, 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 and finally land the shot. Great timing being done, but all that to allow Complexity to move towards the A site. Instant ult coming out too. A double flank coming in here from both Lazy Line and Unstable. Alarm bar watching it. Now it will sound. Just making sure that we're fighting towards that back. A fake flash that allows Raze to move forward towards the spawn to kill onto Hannah. They're playing tight, tucked in the site now for Complexity. At least one player on the rotate. There is that first. And the footsteps on the second one, now confirming that the two flankers are dead, at least in our point of view. Still trying to find that last player is Complexity. Jumping to find info, they finally sees Katarina towards the spawn.
Oh my god.
Look at that, dodging from all three players, and finally Raze. Again here, Riv. One orb away of getting another ult. How many ults has Raze gotten this half?
That's a really good question. Honestly, the last time they played Fracture, Raze's Phoenix just looked so honed.
Was raising the roof.
What? Raising the roof. I'll go with you on that one. I think we both got a gray hair from that point. It's just incredible. The positioning that they get to before flashing, the way the flashes are just catching their opponents off guard. Let's see if Complexity gets caught off guard here. DSG has tried this push 3 times.
Yep. But this is the first time here that we have the set trap play from DSG that was identified earlier on against version 1. A KO knife really just nullified all of that. Now Complexity doing that same thing once again, pivoting towards the A side, but look at that change of pace. DSG actually pushed both extremities and left middle open. And now they take the advantage. 2 players alive against 3 of Complexity.
The Complexity had this kind of rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah.
Of the last map. Those last few rounds of the first half, they changed it up. They seemed to understand the conditioning that Complexity was trying to use on them and used it right back against Complexity now. DSG playing more aggressive, being silent on this A take to finally win it. Remember, this was just a battlefield for our first portion of the first half. Now into A.
Some utils stunning Hannah towards the back of dugout. There's a player towards Secret. Now Hannah finally gets spotted, but still gets the kill there onto Jazzkins and the last 2 players. Lower bar coming out from DSG. Not necessarily thrifty because we have 2 rifles to work with here. Underhand throw, wall bang, Raze falls, and Lace aim labbing left and right. That's 2 kills to her name. 10 seconds left on the clock. Running through the blaze wall, a little bit of damage as Hannah gets 4 in the round, and that story could have been different if she was spotted first there by Jazzkin.
Round in the half.
Great reaction and teamwork here by DSG. Breath of life to bring these last few rounds in. And yeah, Lace. It's the reason Lace was mentioned quite a bit on the desk today, and just those moments can be so pivotal for Complexity to put their team up another round. Not this time. DSG do get the final few kills, and they did a really good job of kind of helping each other out on that A take, I feel like. Not really committing too much to one play, but backing up, backing up, and really making Complexity have to guess at which angle was going to be committed to. So Complexity calls a timeout here. Important just to try to get a final round and make the 3 rounds of next half the ultimate pressure here for DSG.
Definitely. And when you're looking at the history of these 2 teams on this map individually, a little bit of hope you can have for DSG is they actually have close to, I think, over actually 60% win rate on the attack. While Complexity has a pretty decent defense, though, just a little under that 60%. So you definitely do need this round coming out from DSG right here. If not, Complexity has a chance to really just seal the deal on the second map. Unless you're finding your real value here on the attack, on the success that you have for DSG, you might be able to once again bring it back on the second half and overtake Complexity for the second time.
Looks like DSG is going to hold back here. Timeout called by Complexity, and they're expecting something funky. Very default hold on defense. It looks like Katarina's going to want to get out of this.
That's how you do it.
Right into it.
That's how you do it. Dancing around that smoke. Instant advantage for DSG. Not even afraid because the dash was still activated. As now even the Cosmic Divide don't really care here for DSG. Seekers to confirm the last 2 players. They both get shot by the pillar. No flank
do it
set
again.
coming out from DSG. It's just both of them working together on a triple swing versus a 2. A run it back from Unstable. The swing out here from the support. And there you go. 3 rounds for DSG. A flawless to end it as well for DSG.
Switching sides.
And even off Complexity's timeout. That's a great way to get that confidence back here as you switch sides.
You know, less rounds gained here by DSG, but a very familiar ending to the first half where they just seem to be finding their footing. And for Katarina there to snuff out, basically solo snuff a timeout from Complexity there. It's like, oh, 1, 2, 3, thank you very much. And then Complexity had no answer. Pistol round comes up, lots of ghosts around, especially on the side of DSG, which means a little bit less util to be used, but they should have enough still. Mid play, Complexity's looking for it already. Looks like Art's going to be a quick push here just to show presence in mid.
Presence is also going to be found from a flash by Lace. Jazzigan's falling back, and looks like DSG want to move real quick now for Art control. Spotting even on top of that, the Duelist. The one, tip of the spear, Unstable. Hot hands now towards the drop. And Lace is playing on the top of the staircase. And Unstable wins it with a classic. First player to fall for Complexity. As DSG is now moving inside the map. Claudia looking for timing somewhere behind the smoke. And the timing's off. Hannah now has the opportunity to flank, but not even need it. Katarina wins that fight from the church as Claudia is trying to run back. 3 players alive now for Complexity. Disadvantaged by 2. As DSG has their full roster crossfiring towards this spike. There's that double swing coming out from Complexity though. Still a 1-for-1. Flash available.
One enemy
Gets
remaining.
popped. Assist there to allow Misu to get the kill. And Kara is now on a 4 versus 1. And as the smoke dissipates on a recall, easy pistol in the end for DSG.
Starting it soon, starting it early. How do they upgrade? Do we have Guardians here, or are they actually just going to go for regular buys? Looks like just regular buys. I expect DSG... So last time they played against Complexity's or I would say eco rounds with their anti-ecos, they didn't give Complexity a chance to set anything up. It's kind of different to see a team go very fast when the other team is eco rounding. It seems like DSG feels comfortable in that pace, in that pressure.
Watch your eyes.
Double flash already out. Back and forth swings. Vulnerabilities here too coming out from a grab well, and finally DSG. They stop and stuff the trap play attempt from Complexity.
Like I said, right to it. And even Misu wants to take the 1v1s here. Wow. So aggressive. They want to start showing Complexity that they are not meant to be pushed around on the side of DSG. Still, the flank by Katarina because they have just sorted out Complexity so much on this map. They're leaving some of the rotations into place as Misu goes down.
One enemy remaining.
Lace, nice little dink there. Good damage being done by Complexity. Even though the backstab comes out from Katarina on the flank towards the spawn or from the spawn, this is going to be an expensive buy for DSG. I don't think you're going to invest too much in your bonus.
That's a great point. Yeah, Complexity did a lot of... I don't think they should have got that many kills coming in. So props on that site take where they're dropping 2, 3, 4, almost 4 members. It's kind of wild to see. So DSG playing that a little loose, feeling like they had it secured. I don't think we'll see too much of that. As now we get to the bonus. Complexity get back on DSG's map. After DSG takes your fracture, I'm sure they want it.
Okay, Jazzy gets it. A missed timing coming out there from Unstable, who was just trying to win their one in the front of the orb. We talked about a much lower buy, a difficult one to have, and a difficult one to gain control towards the A orb. Already Complexity are in the early 5 versus 3. That said here, Riv, that the game plan once again seems to be very similar from both of these teams at the get-go, at the start of the Bears coming up. You want to try to negate the amount of orbs that could get controlled here by the Phoenixes on both ends. Game plan stays similar. Orb control, pivot towards B. But the difference is Complexity are getting these victories on both sides of the map.
That spells good things for Complexity. A flawless to bring it back. And they're going to feel very good about that. Really just solid play all around. They get back to this position. They almost take that area quietly this time. Less flash, less utility to make it seem less bolstered. But no, everyone's ready. Flawless gets picked up. And now DSG get to see if they will get a few more rounds on this half. I feel like this one could almost solidify it for Complexity with how they have been able to read DSG. Katarina's still the lurk. This is interesting. So they leave Unstable to be the one to cause chaos in the site.
But that's what we mentioned, right? The using the duelists as lurks on this map, just like they did on Fracture. And sometimes that third flanker, the third lurk is Hannah. But most of the times here is one of these duelists, especially when you have an opportunity to clear the site with a run it back. Were they just staring at each other until they realized they weren't from the same team? And that's the defender down. Kara falling from the hands of Unstable.
Scout destroyed.
So many in this back hall again, Van Silly. This gets so sketchy. They do have a few outside, so it should work. And Katarina back with the team, as you're mentioning.
Blaze Wall flash, double kill for DSG. Advantage back or continues in their favor. As Katarina never went for a flank, pretty much just went back to meet up with her teammates inside the site.
Ooh.
And it works out for a very nice little pulse plan in the end.
Nice. Only losing one? That's big. DSG, they can correct the money a bit on that round. And you see it could be difficult now for Complexity if they lose this next one. An A setup here for COL. They look to hard pressure this once again. And they're just going to leave old Kara off on an island onto this B site. I wonder if Katarina, I haven't seen too much messing with the Killjoy utility in mid yet. I think that's going to be perfect if they actually played A quiet, to let that utility be toyed with, and then execute your strategy. Even if you do keep some at A, even if you're fighting in that long pinched corridor. Or they back it off and it'll just be Katarina doing that. I don't know, it's too readable. If you leave nobody at A, Jazzykin says they're not here. We know that. Look at this rotation from Complexity.
Yeah.
It's about the firefight now.
Hara has been smothered by the aggressive push before, trying to do something with the Guardian this time around. At least gets that with the assist out from Claudia. Evens up the tally. Losing then on to Lazy Lion.
Time to hunt.
Making sure here that we're clearing towards streets, towards spawn.
Spike planted.
Spike now planted. Hot hands, keeping a player close. Ray's trying to at least get one from the run it back. Got info on two players. The Dreads are sticking on the top. Katarina
Charges left.
trying to land that shot, also down to 21 HP.
One enemy remaining.
Playing behind, under, close to all of these walls. It's still DSG. I mean, this is starting to be a replication of the first map.
Yeah, I'm starting to enjoy the amount DSG is putting into being okay with the firefight, being okay with just battling the amount of people that are there. The way they're entering the site is 2 and 2 or 3 and kind of 1 hanging back with this Katarina lurk going on. The brute force style is very hard to play against, and when you have a composition with duelists, you still need to try and play like that, even if it's not a raise and a jet jumping in together. But DSG still remembering the win conditions of this composition. We will see the duelists playing together on this one of Katarina. And Unstable for a moment as the orb grab comes back in. Blades are up. Seekers is up, and they're going to work the map now. Yeah, this time they leave Katarina to hang. It looks like they still want A, but they're not leaving positions fully. And this leaves Complexity guessing. They only heard the early information, and now bands.
Curveball, relay bolts, counter flash, slowing down the attack from Complexity. Seeker's already coming out from Art, though. And that's really well done by both DSG members as the duelists falling back. Allowing the other 3 to push forward and maybe fight towards the spawn. And as there's a trade-off happening towards A main, there's that fight that ensues towards the back of the site. Comes now with 2 versus 1. Seekers coming out. Guns are too far away finally. As Lace only has a Sheriff until now. Wall bang onto Mizu. Last one, Trailblazers. Plenty of time. The shot coming from main.
They still has a molly, but it's not down.
And a flash available too for Lace.
Yeah.
Tap on the spike, and a headshot from Lace!
Oh my.
The Red Bull clutch once again! And Lace steps up to the plate in those moments where complexity needs her.
Oh, light error there from DSG, and every opportunity taken by complexity. The molly being available, there was no peek necessary there. Lace probably clearing the molly, but still having that molly in hand this late, your teammates going down, the Seekers is out. I think the chaos just got to DSG a little too much there, and Lace thrives in it. What, plus 30 last series or something absurd? Looks to be doing something similar here from complexity. So Lace leading the charge there to stave off another loss from DSG. Round 19 now. It's going to be a quick one from DSG to beat.
Katarina trying to get value off the blade. Storm off shot misses, so second life coming out now. As Jazzkins, though, will not miss a second time. Bladestorm now canceled. Complexity rolling back inside the site. Cosmic Divide getting no value either. Map has been regained. Beautiful curveball out by Raze. And even there, potential to move up at 12 for Complexity, even with a flawless. Misu has something else to say. Wants to fight back despite the situation for the economy for DSG. Head-to-head, face-to-face. Buckshot misses. But Jaskin once again does not. Map point for Complexity here on Pearl.
I'm out of here. Match point.
I feel like it's actually hard to tell which way these rounds are going to go. Because you get a round where DSG is in the site, they're winning their trades, and then you get a round like that where Complexity sees a member of DSG and they cease to exist. In a matter of, you're like, wait a minute, okay, in the crossfire drop. It's tough to read how these rounds are going to go. I think, though, DSG has had the best luck with a little bit of a hit, pulling back, and then re-hitting with Complexity off the original angles there. This with no control on the B side of the map, their hands forced to A, and it looks like they will go.
Interesting here that they're giving the orb to Unstable, but not a weapon to move through with it. It's just a Sheriff. So basically being a human scout, a human trailblazer, literally, as Lazy Lion gets the plant.
All right, spikes in. Hard flanks on this one. Almost playing it more from the flank than they are. The front of the site is DSG as Complexity looks for the retake.
Counter ult on the attack for Hannah. Right in the corner of the A main. A fake check, but Ray still turns around for the kill. Now Hannah. Okay, the lockdown got broken. She still gets 2 kills with it, and there's that late lurk you're talking about here, Riv. Katarina coming in from the flower pots. Gravity Well with the assist. Kara answers back. A 2 versus 2. Tap on the spike. It's a full stick to at least get it halfway. Now the frenzy in the smoke. Misu on the other end. The shot being heard. And they get the defuse. Complexity answer right back and tie up the series 1-1 with a victory on Pearl.
The slow motion ending there. I do not know how they got the defuse down. Car there. Solid hands.
Oh my God.
Steady. Never miss. Perfect wire cutting. Spliced it, cut it. Round 1. What a win coming in from Complexity. They even up this series, and it was almost a comeback again from Disguise. You cannot count out the type of things they'll start to pull out. It's just, can you adjust fast enough? And Complexity realized, I think, hey, we're playing a little too far back.
Yeah.
We've given them too much space. Let's take the space again. Bringing that offense back to their defense, and Complexity was able to close out that match.
It almost felt at some point it was doable there too. You saw from that replay there was some wall bangs happening there too on that diffuser, which maybe could have given a chance there for, you know, a save coming through and keep the dream alive here on the second map of Pearl for DSG, but that's not going to be the case. Now we move over to Haven, where we've seen some great plays from Complexity on the attack. Does DSG have an answer for this? We'll find out after the break here for the Verizon Game Changers.
What is this from Ye? He is currently unstoppable. He is just a consistent demon. El Diablo.
Hey guys, it's Ye. Welcome to my course on optimal Valorant training. I'm going to be demonstrating now some angle clearing. I'll slowly come around the corner as well, making sure no one's on these off angles.